Let's start with the very simple micro yoga of moving our wrist. Very simply, you will find that there is always a principle that if you would like to free up your joints, you have to move the joints in a different orders. So in micro yoga, generally the sukshma vyayam, what we say, there are questions: how many types of yoga you can do, how many types of micro yoga you can do. So you have to have the different combinations, okay, of even the wrist itself. The examiner will actually come to know that you know the yoga very well. You have different imaginations of micro yoga, and definitely you can be a very good trainer. Okay, simple types of micro yoga will give you a kind of different imaginations. So okay, you can have a different angles of your hands, lock your fingers, move them, move your complete hand on one side, another side with a different angle, opposite angle, the angle, complete cross angles, and you can also have the rotations. You can also have the opposite of it. Remember that the examiner will always see whether the person does opposite yoga or not. If you say, suppose you have a micro yoga, very simple, just to touch the floor here, whether the person is also touching the floor on the opposite side, as because it's a bilateral symmetry we have. So always there is one side, opposite side. Very simple micro yoga. Suppose we have simple micro yoga of touching our hands to each other from one side, taking your right hand from upside back and left hand from left side. You will always, the examiner will always check the person does this one and remains, or the person also does the opposite side micro yoga or not. And we'll also check how much is the efforts or easiness through which the person does it, whether the person is actually trying to show more and more, that is, then you are actually violating the yoga protocol. No more and more a show business there. So be as it is. If your tummy is showing or it is being shown to the examiner, let it get shown. Okay, don't do that. You just take your tummy inside and be there like that. Never do this business. Never do. This can be very easily detected by the experienced yoga teacher. Very easily. Never be fooled the yoga teacher with your respiration or with your breathing befooling technique, because the yoga teacher will have his very sharp eye on your pharynx, which determines whether you are breathing in or breathing out. Okay, so very important. Another micro yoga. Let's start with very simple micro yoga, that is, just start with Dandasan. Dandasan is a simple technique or the sitting asan where your complete back is straight, not like this. So even the examiners ask you to do Dandasan, and if you remain this way, it's a problem. So Dandasan, your view should be in front. You should be viewing in front. Your hands should be just beside the upper portion of a femur or the thighs, and You should be concentrating on one point. Dandasana. There can be a question by examiner that which asana will you advise as a trainer to a person who has knee ache. Okay, the examiner will give you choices whether you will advise Padmasana because it can cure the knee ache, or whether you will give him Swastikasana, Bhadrasana, or Vajrasana, or Virasana. Which one? So the answer is Dandasana. The person who is suffering from knee ache should not fold his knee and give a pressure on it. So better to recommend Dandasana. So Dandasana is very good for people who are suffering from knee ache. Okay. So Dandasana, first asana. So the examiner can ask you which is the preferable asana when the person has knee ache, or which is a very simple asana. The first is Dandasana, right? So after that you can have the sitting position asana, but before that let's do some micro yoga to free up our joints for Padmasana. So there can be a question, what are the micro yoga you can do, or what are the sukshma vyayam you can do for Padmasana or lotus position. So you can show that okay, I am loosening the joints of my ankle, so rotating my complete toes, ankles and heels, so that my joints, my leg joints are getting loosened. Okay, so this is the one. Second, you can have the little bit exercise of your thighs so that there is more blood circulation in the thighs. Keep, whenever you are doing, you should be as straight as possible. Never do this way. Okay, it should be as straight as possible. Fold your one leg. Always keep your left hand for left leg below your left leg. Be straight. Lock your toes and fingers and be straight, and see this, the micro yoga of your leg, because in Padmasana or lotus position you will find that you have to actually properly shuffle this in your the knee bend, and that's why this is very important. The examiner will also see whether the person is doing only on one side or doing on another side. His vertebral column is straight, his other leg, whether it is bent, is straight. Yes, it is straight. The next one, next micro yoga, put the heel in your groin. People have habit to do this way. It's not a correct one. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. At this micro yoga, very important to check whether the vertebral column or your backbone is moving or not. If it is this way, no, it's not a correct way. It should be, so vertebral column should not move, or backbone should not move. It can be up to our extent, but it should not be towards the wrong direction. Second, lock your fingers this way. People have habit here to do this way. Okay, please don't do this. This means that we don't know the body symmetry or chemistry of our body. This is the correct way, easy way to do it. The next one, hold it parallel to the ground and push the knee on the right side. Okay, so here again you should not move your body completely. You should be straight and move only leg part here. Hold it. You can also have a micro yoga of moving your leg and your ankle with some typical 1, 2, 3 and 4 positions, right? And after that, the same yoga you have to perform, same micro yoga you have to perform by other leg. Not like one leg is done, okay, we have shown, it is done. It is a complete yoga. So you have to show the complete yoga. Do it in the opposite direction. Keep your leg straight. Another leg you can keep it straight. Hold it. The second position, keep your heel in the groin and try to very slowly free up your hip joint. So there may be question, which joints does it free? It frees up the heel, ankle and hip joints. Okay, so it's very important to free up the hip joints. Hold it parallel, push it in a way that it frees up the joints. Again, hold it same way what you hold your left leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Don't move much of your head, rather move more your leg. That is the technique. After that, very importantly, the examiner will also see whether the person does butterfly or bhadrasana. So we have learned dandasana, okay, we are learning bhadrasana. Okay, so bhadrasana is actually just touching your both the sole together and be there very calm and quiet. See in front, even if your legs or your knees are not touching, it's okay. Don't force that to touch your knee. You can have easy position. You may have a lot of ache here, but don't overstretch. If you overstretch, you will find that the examiner can very easily determine that the person is in stress. Okay, so yoga is to remove the stress rather than taking the stress. So you have defeated the purpose of yoga itself. In Bhadrasana, the micro yoga is butterfly, what you can do, Bhadrasana, Chalanasana. Okay, so you can have free up the joints as well as free up the muscles of your thighs. Question may be why you would like to do that. Okay, so this particular preparation is for preparation of Padmasana, lotus position. Alright, so let's go for the lotus position. When you go for lotus position, the examiner may ask, what is the advantage of lotus position when you are doing this? The advantage is you will get the Moola Bandha, that is locking of your perineal, anal and the genital muscles up together. In lotus, automatically 60 to 70% of your Mool Bandha is set. Okay, so you'll find that when you lock the Mool Bandh, okay, so you'll find that it is very easy to lock and it's very easy to integrate your complete body inside. So Mool Bandh is a position for Dhyan. So Padmasana, lotus position. Remember that in both in the Padmasana, both the legs are actually their sole is facing the sky. Okay, so you can have a Padmasana with more crossing of leg. You can have Padmasana with less crossing of leg, as much as you can. It is considered that Padmasana is a asana. Okay, so if you go in front of examiner, you are allowed to sit in Sukhasana. Okay, they may say you there is no need to sit in Padmasana, you can sit in Sukhasana. What is Sukhasana? The third asana is, it's a very simple folding of leg, but your backbone is straight. Sukhasana, right? This is a Sukhasana where you are just at ease. You can have the other way, at ease, Sukhasana. There is one more asana, Ardha Padmasana, where your one leg is above the other leg, but for example, my right leg is above my left leg, but my left leg is below right leg. It is not again above my right leg. Okay, this is the Ardha Padmasana. Okay, so there may be a question, apart from Padmasana and Sukhasana, can you do dhyan in other asana? This may be the question, right? So then again you have a question how to do that. So one more asana, there is asana known as Siddhasana. Okay, what is the Siddhasana says? The heel of our foot, put it in the perineum, touch it the space between the anus and the genital, and to it above that another leg, so that or both the heels are one above the other. Okay, and your complete posture is straight. Remember, your hand should not touch the ground. That violates the principle of yoga. It can be here, it can be here, it can be this way, it can be this way. Your posture is straight. Not necessary to close your eyes, but you will get over the period of time. Whenever you sit in any asana, you try to internalize yourself and internalize your sense organs, and you close your eyes. Okay, so that is also one of the characteristic when you enjoy the asana and don't worry about even the examiner, right? So, but of course, there is no need to show off. Close your eyes when the examiner is saying something. No, not like that. Very importantly, we should respect the examiner, what he is asking, and it should be very interactive. So, Siddhasana. Some people also say it as a Muktasana, okay, but this is the Siddhasana which is said in even the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, right? So Siddhasana. After that, there is one more asana which is also very famous, and it is also given for the dhyan position. That is the Swastikasana. Swastikasana, very important. Again, Swastikasana is fold. When you go to Swastikasana, approach phase, always remember that you need to touch your soul to the first to the thigh. Second, touch. This is soul is touched to the thigh. Another, if you are not comfortable, you can start with some moments. So I'll do this way. So I'm touching the sole of one leg to the thigh, another thigh sole, and I'm just inserting the another sole, another foot inside the another leg this way. Okay, so it is little bit different from the Padmasana. In Padmasana, you are actually, this is a Swastikasana. You are in Padmasana, both are facing the sky. In Swastikasana, they are inside. Okay, they are inside. So you have to have more wide angle of your pelvic girdle, right? So you'll find that you're locked like a swastik inside. Okay, this is one of the asana, Dhanasana. It's a beautiful asana. You get your body very highly integrated. Alright, so this is a Swastikasana. Correct? So we see Siddhasana, Sukhasana, Swastikasana, Padmasana, Bhadrasana, okay, and we have seen Dandasana. These are some of the asanas where you can actually sit in dhyan. Also, it is said that examiner generally asks, okay, just have 30 seconds of dhyan. You can have any position, either you can have dhyan with closed eyes or you can have a dhyan with the object. Okay, so dhyan, it is said that tatra eka tanta dhyanam, the continuous concentration on one object. It can be a physical object, it can be an imaginary object, or it can be a inside organ, that is dhyan. Tatra eka tanta dhyanam. The line you say tatra eka tanta dhyanam, examiner will be happy and examiner will not even look how you are doing dhyan. They have a very keen eyes, the person, whether he has or she has the fold on forehead, the person has eyeball movements, the person has is either have open eyes, it's okay, closed eyes, it's okay, but whether the person has a blinking eyes, whether he is seeing towards me, that kind of thing they observe very well. Okay, let's go for one more asana, that is also Dhyanatmaka asana, that is our thunderbolt position or Vajrasana. So whenever it has been asked the thunderbolt position, you can sit where you will find that you have to rest yourself, okay, on your heel, and your complete backbone should be straight. You can keep your hands this way. Thunderbolt position. There is one more position, Virasana. Okay, if you have been asked, give me some difficult asana than the thunderbolt position, the answer is Virasana. Generally, they give you choice of that. The Virasana is little bit different, but it's equally difficult. You just little bit of your leg, you make them apart. Another leg, try this. It looks very simple. It is equally difficult. You both the legs. I am not sitting on the legs. I am sitting just between the legs. This way. You see this way. Okay. So between the legs are completely out of my seat. It's equally difficult. It needs lot of practice and it needs a little bit of more flexibility. So that is also Dhyanatmaka asana. So be happy, observe the stretch you have, especially in your ankles, in your knees, and of course, if you have challenges already, you should disclose it to the examiner very immediately. That I have this kind of challenges. Please excuse me for this. They are very happy. Challenges are not considered. They will not give you some asana very explicitly. They'll say, okay, you don't do this asana. They are very sensitive about even the gender, and they will also note that particular type of asana which are not to be done in a public, they will definitely refrain from those kind of asana. Okay, so they are very sensitive about it, very logical about it. Okay, and let's do one more asana. So we have seen Virasana. One more asana, which is they can ask you, can you show me some asana which is twisting asana, which twists your your back side portion. So again, you should have always the particularly three stages of asana. How you approach, how you maintain yourself in that asana, and how you return back. Okay, so they will also check about respiration, whether you are following the respiration of asana or not. Okay, so first let's go for Bharadwajasana. Okay, so this is the twist pose. Again, one leg you are actually folding it from the knee, another leg you are keeping it over your thigh. You can pull it towards your side. This is the way. Okay, so there are variations of this also, and you are keeping your one hand here, another hand here and you're twisting yourself, your eyes should be open. The key thing they will see, your eyes are open. There are variations of Bharadwajasana that you can also have this way, okay, but both are accepted. Both are accepted. So it depends on many school how they teach, but this is definite that the key position is the fold of these legs, one leg above the other. Similarly, you can do the similar Bharadwajasana from the other side. Okay, so keep your one leg folded from the knee and another leg like this. Approach this position. Okay, take a deep breath. Very slowly twist yourself. You can have there 10 to 20 seconds maintenance position. Be there. Okay. So here you will find that one lung is closed almost, another is widely open. They may ask you where the twist you observe. You have to tell, okay, so side twists are there. I have a twist in thighs. So they can very easily determine if it is a correct one. The twist is at correct muscle. It is done. Okay. So Bharadwajasana was the one, and in the Vajrasana, you can sit in the Vajrasana in front of them. This is very good. When you sit in the Vajrasana, they may ask you, any other asana of Vajrasana you can do? Yes. You can say, yes, I can do. So here there is a Prarthanasana is there, or you can say Naman Mudra. Some people say also Shashankasana. Okay, there are a number of names of this particular asana. So here they'll say, okay, show me any asana. Okay, sometimes you may have a wrong name or the synonym of it. That is fine sometimes. Okay, but you have to have a disclaimer there, very clear disclaimer that I think this is the asana which I remember. So in Shashankasana or Prarthanasana or Naman Mudra, some people say, here you are actually doing the Anjali Mudra, that is saluting your both the hands. You have to breathe out. So approach position of Anjali Mudra. Breathe in. And you will find that the examiner will not see towards your tummy or your chest. The examiner will see only two things: whether the person has joined his knee, or he has a bifurcation of the knee, or he is casual about knees. So the knees are to be joined to each other. Anjali Mudra should never be open. Those are the two things which are very important for this. So breathe out and breathe in. The top of the head, Anjali Mudra, should have a very good expression that you are doing very good for your body. Complete breathe in, slowly breathe out, and while going down, don't bring your hands only down. You bring integrated way, your complete upper portion down. Try to touch the ground. Examiner will always have his view between your hips and the heels. He will not see towards whether you have touched your forehead to the ground or whether you are breathing or breathe out. Naturally, you have to breathe out here. You have to touch your forehead to the ground, but as far as possible, don't try to lift this way. You can have some small amount of lift, which is always natural. Okay, and bring this your Anjali Mudra near to your head Relax in this position. 10 to 20 seconds, be there. You can also have breathe in, breathe out here. You can also breathe out and be there without taking in. It depends on you, and you can explain if it has been asked. So breathe out, stretch yourself. Again, the examiner will see whether your arms are touching your ear, yes or no. And then it comes the return position, and this is very important. Return should be very integrated way. Take a deep breath here and slowly breathe out. More slowly you do asana, better it is. Very, very important. Okay. So when you do this Namaskarasan or Prarthanasan or Shashangasan, or some people say as the Naman Mudra. So it is very important that you should not lift your back. Very, very important. Okay. Then there is another asan similar to this, Mandukasana. Manduk is a frog. It's a frog pose. Okay. So frog pose, again you have to have the similar kind of thing, but you have to split your leg around 1 to 2 feet of distance. It's like a kavali position. Okay. Rest your back and relax. So frog position. Here you can have again the similar kind of thing. You can sit here. It is a Ardha Mandukasana, and for Mandukasana you can breathe in again, up, very slowly go down, and touch your forehead. There are some books they say touch your chin. Okay, both are acceptable. Touch your forehead, touch your chin. Forehead, it is easier because, and it is better because when you touch your forehead, your nose will actually be pointing upwards. You are breathing in the nose from up direction. Okay, if you touch your chin, you are in literally trouble because you are breathing in from the floor. There are chances of infection. So my request always, touch your forehead and be there for 10 to 20 seconds and slowly come back, breathe in and breathe out slowly. That is Mandukasana, right? So in Mandukasana again, how you come back is very important. How you release the pose is very important. Also people say the Uttana Mandukasana is another pose. Uttana Mandukasana, again you have to split your leg while approaching. Take a deep breath, hands up, be there, very slowly breathe out, cross your legs, and on the right palm on the left scapula, left palm on the right scapula. Here you can have breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. It is said that with Uttana Mandukasana, it is cough relieving position. You will feel open chested. It increases the capacity of chest. It makes your diaphragm healthier. They may ask, what is the advantage of this particular asana? You should have the advantages known and also the contraindications. All asanas which having the fold of your knee should be prohibited to any person who is having knee ache. So here again, breathe out, breathe in, take both the hands up and breathe out. So that is the Uttana Mandukasana. Let's have some pose which is a kind of half sitting and half standing pose. Okay, so there is one pose known as Parighasana. It is like the compass chop. So here what you need to do when you have to go to Parighasana, you can have the sitting position. Okay, you can have the sitting on in the Malasana, and then very slowly you can also have the particularly from the standing position. You can also have from the sitting position just beside your leg. Okay, and you can adjust yourself this way beside your leg, and then very slowly go on the other side. This is one variation of Parighasana. There can be another variation. So on the other side, this way, this is the seating position of Parighasana, right? Or there can be a standing Parighasana where you have to fold your knee and one leg should be spread. That is a Parighasana. Okay, let's have the spine twist. Spine twist. So in spine twist, or your complete spine is twisted, fold your leg. Okay, all those people who have slip disc, they should not do spine twist. Fold your leg, and very slowly, people also say sometimes this is a kind of variation of Bharadwajasana. Okay, so here slowly the right leg you have to put on the left side beside the left leg. Your right hand should go back, and your left hand should actually push the knee of left leg, try to touch your knee this way, and be in the same plane, the whole body in the same plane. Twist yourself and see back. This is the spine twist. Enjoy in this twisted position. Enjoy the release of insulin, reduction of the fat on the belly, side, twisting of spine, stimulation of cranial nerves. Slowly come back. Release your hand. Release another hand. And release your leg. From other side, take a deep breath. Before that, breathe out. Another side. Again, keep your leg folded from the knee beside the left leg, beside the right leg. One hand just in line with your leg. By arm, push it and hold your knee very, very casually. Do not pull your pants this way. Don't do that. Keep it very simply and twist. If you cannot do that, just hold it this way. It's okay. If you want to do it with the complete twist, you can show examiner I'm at ease. Okay? Don't pull here and there. Be there. Keep your eyes open. Be there for 10 to 20 seconds. Slowly release the pose. Bring your other hands to its original position and come back. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Kagasana. Next asana. Kagasana is one of the asana of Shankha Prakshalan. Okay. It is one of the cleaning process. So for Kagasana, you have to sit one leg folded but knee is pointing the sky, another leg where knee is pointing front. Take a deep breath, Kalasana. Your right hand should get the side of the right knee, left hand should get the side of the left knee. You have to apply your brachial muscle here with a complete force. So first breathe out. Remember that your right leg is just toes are touching. Your right leg heel is touching your hip and your vertebral column, your backbone is as straight as possible. Take a deep breath and push your right leg touching your left leg calf muscle and turn yourself completely. Keep the complete breath in there. Don't breathe out. Kagasana is used for pushing the stools right from the colon to the rectum, building a pressure on the rectum. Is the only one of the asanas which is done after drinking water, Kagasana. And you'll find there's a huge twist in the colon, rectum. So Kagasana. People, they have to. Our trainer has to recommend this for people who doesn't have any knee ache or any ankle operations, no colonectomy, and having a trouble of constipation. Kagasana. Slowly come back, and here we have to breathe out. Then come back to the original position again. Be there for 2 to 3 seconds at least. Be in Sukhasana and go to the other side for Kagasana. So here on other side, again your vertebral column is straight. Take a deep breath. Hold your left hand beside the knee, right hand beside the other knee. Take a deep breath. This time my left leg is below the right leg. It's not at the same position. Just note it down. See straight. Take a deep breath and push your left knee close to your right leg and twist your neck. See right exactly on the opposite direction back. See towards the back. Keep your eyes open. You have to stop the breathing completely. You have breath, and after the breath in, you stop yourself. That is Kagasana. Slowly come back. Take a deep breath. Here first you have to breathe out and then breathe in, and then come to the original position very slowly. Kagasana. Similarly, there is another position, Gomukhasana, that is a cow pose. So for going into the cow pose, you have to first fold your one knee and other knee over it. While approaching it, cow pose, those who have again a knee ache, they should not do cow pose. Okay, cow pose, though it gives a relief of your upper vertebral column, any ache, okay, it gives, but it helps, but you have to definitely recommend a person to doctor, because it can be any other ache. Only if it is a sitting ache, sitting for a long time, you can definitely recommend it to a normal person. So you have to fold your knees one above the other in such a way that your knees, your elbows and your nose all are in the one single plane. So for this, Your right hand, you bring it near to your neck, and left hand, so that you can hold them. If you are not able to hold, don't worry about it. Okay? But your nose, your elbow, your knees, they are in one direction, one plane. You can breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. You can have a strategy of showing examiner one asana with one pose from front, another you can still show it from the side or at the back, depending on the type of asana. So what I'm doing here, that I'm folding, so I'm keeping now right leg above my left leg. That leg which is above should be from the upside. Okay, so my right leg is above my left leg, so this should go up, and then this should hold. Okay, my left and right hand, shake them firmly, and my elbow, my nose, both the knees, they are in one plane like a cow. Cow pose. Observe the stretch you have in your left chest. Observe the stretch you have in your left arm, right arm. This way you can enjoy the cow pose. Observe the stretch you have in your left side of the tummy. Slowly release them. Release the hand check. Come back. Left hand. Bring it to the original position. And release the position of your leg. The coming back should be very slow. Don't hurry up to come back. Okay, so this was the cow pose. Okay, you can come back again to the normal Sukhasana. Okay. Some of the asana, the examiner may ask you, can you show some asana which you feel that is a little bit difficult, but you can show it to us. At that point of time, you can do some of the asanas. For example, you can show Tolasana, but make sure that you are doing it correctly. So Tolasana, you can say that it is one of the asana in Iyengar Yoga. Okay, so you can have Padmasana. Okay, and you should always remember all these asana, you have to do it with empty stomach. Second, you should have either you should have very tight kind of tug supporter here, or you should have a langot, and or you should know your capacity. Already you have done it. So Tolasana is one of the asana where you keep yourself just beside this. You can have your both the palms touching. You can also have the fist over it, whichever way, and you can lift yourself and be there like a Tolasana. So you can definitely get the good brownie points with the if you show Tolasana, and be stable in the Tolasana. Don't be hurry up. Don't do cradling in the Tolasana. Okay, come back, take a deep breath, breathe out, and then you can unfold very slowly your lotus position. Okay, you can also have the difficult asanas. If you practice next 2 to 3 months, you can definitely have some of the difficult asana. So, so in that you can also have the Padma Mayurasana, that also you can have, but definitely you have to practice well, and it is not an asana which is given in epics. It is further over the Mayurasana it has been developed. So Mayurasana is actually in the sleeping position asana, but the Padma Mayurasana is a sitting asana, right? So Padma Mayurasana, you can have your both the hands like peacock. You can keep it in the peacock position. Okay, take a deep breathe out, put your elbows, slowly take a deep breath, put your elbows in your tummy and slowly lift your Padmasana up. Be as straight as possible. Be Sthiram Sukhamasanam. Enjoy the pose. Slowly come back. Take a deep breath. Come back. And breathe out. Take a deep breath. And breathe out. After the Padma Mayurasana, you will find that you will get a kind of blood in your eyes. Okay, but it is said that in Mayurasana as well as Padma Mayurasana, you get the power to digest the poison of snake, and that is the reason it is known as Mayurasana. So it is a Padma Mayurasana, one of the asana. There are certain asana like Navasana. You can show Navasana. Navasana is right. First you go in Dandasana, be there this way, and very slowly you can have your hands and raise your leg parallel to your hands, slowly, and be there parallel, straight. Breathe in, breathe out. You have a complete stretch in your tummy. Be there. Your hands and your legs should be parallel. You are watching the tip of your toes. Observe the stretch you have and be steady in this position. Very slowly. Breathe out. Come back. Bring your legs down and bring your hands to the original position of Dandasana. This is also one of the difficult asana, considered as a difficult asana. Sitting asanas, you will find there are n number of many difficult asana which are connected with more and more of the twisting, as well as connected with the strength of your tummy and your chest. So one of the asana which is a kakasana, or some people also classified it as a bakasana. Okay, so this is another asana. So let's take a deep breath first. Take a deep breath. One has to take utmost care for doing this asana. If you fall down, it's a big accident. So those people who have a practice of this, they can do slowly this practice for Kakasan. So you can hold yourself in a Malasan. This is a Malasan, where which is actually Malasan, not Malasan, Malasan, where you sit in the toilet position. For this, you have to keep your both the hands in front of your knee on the ground. Very slowly, you need to hold yourself up and balance yourself. Be there. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Be there as much as possible. Very slowly come back after 10 to 20 seconds. Enjoy the position. Slowly come back. Take a deep breath. And breathe out. So, those are the some of the asana which you can show it to the examiner. And sitting asana, there are limitations. Most of the sitting asana where you have, especially all difficult asana, people who are suffering from hypertension, they should not perform. So let's take a deep breath. Breathe out. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Calm down yourself. Be in Sukhasana. Let's have Anulom Vilom Pranayam so that we can balance our nerves after the sitting asanas. Let's have Mulband. Breathe out. Let's have breathe in. Hold it. Slowly breathe out. By right. Hold it. Breathe in by right. Hold it. And breathe out by left. Let's little bit calm down ourselves, as we have done almost 20 different asana. Our body actually gets completely energetic. We have to calm down our body. The question can be, what is the way to calm down the body? It can be Shitkari. Breathe out. Let's do Shitkari. Breathe in through your teeth. Swallow the air. And breathe out. Breathe in through your teeth. Swallow it. And breathe out. Let's breathe in. And breathe out. Those who have done asana, they'll understand this very well. Let's concentrate on our heartbeats and let's have the Kevali pranayam. So breathe in happily, breathe out happily. This is a simple kriya. It is not a sakumbhak pranayam. To make ourselves as it is, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Close your eyes.